Orleans Parish and Sewage and Water Board. So many folks in Metro New Orleans fixated on that, unless, it floods in Jefferson Parish or the West Bank or the North Shore. There's going to be street flooding in Orleans, Jefferson, West Bank, New Orleans East. Doesn't matter if pumps are operating great or not. So much rain comes out of the sky that quickly, there's going to be some street flooding. These are the kind of opportunities where leaders, get some kind of, if it's drone photos, drone video, flying over areas. So you see what street floods, which areas flood, which areas go underwater quickly, which areas don't. And then you can make adjustments like, I know this sounds crazy, but dig a hole. They call them retention ponds or water features. They've got them like on the Earhart Expressway. You notice those? Today, when I drove by earlier on the Earhart, the entire pipes were exposed. I bet you now those ponds are full of water on the Earhart. Better that the water's in those ponds than on the Earhart Expressway, cars hydroplaning all over and, accidents even worse. Now, I don't know when we're going to get it. I don't know if it's going to be in my lifetime. I think it's Wagner and Ball. You can just look up like the New Orleans water plan. It's about 10 years old. A great architectural and engineering firm came up with it. It's New Orleans like in the future. Sadly, it should be New Orleans today. But it's a lot of water features, retention ponds all over the metro area. Like the Lafitte Greenway, by now should be called the Lafitte Blueway because there's so many water features as part of the Lafitte Greenway. And I'm not kidding you. That was the old, what was it, the Carondelet Street Canal, I believe. There's still remnants of it right off Broad Street. You can see like the concrete sort of, canal right there. That's remnants of a canal that's 200 years old that we filled in, like the New Basin Canal. Another mistake, filling that in. Just a mistake. No one uses that neutral ground on Pontchartrain Boulevard and West End. There's no playgrounds, fields, nothing. No one uses that. Few people jog on that path. A few people walk across it. It's basically neglected and abused, and it's high ground. It doesn't flood.
It's kind of creepy. It's also a little bit of a cemetery.
Well, I can't help that, Miss Peaches. Thought. Yeah, that's a bunch of what's creepy is not only it's like a cemetery, which it really isn't. It's a bunch of Irish people that are there.
Right.
Pretty much exclusively Irish.
They have the monument.
But yeah, I think you could do some archaeological dig there, and someone dies, they just threw the body there and they kept digging.
That's the history.
The old New Basin Canal, lots of deaths from mosquito bites, from malaria and yellow fever and all that. No bueno. Not a good way to go. Anyway, I don't know. We don't learn our lessons in Metairie and New Orleans, nowhere. We need retention ponds, water features all over. The low-lying areas, some areas we need to abandon. Some we need to get super creative. Now, some of you are going to be like, Corey, how do you do this? You get creative. You get experts. You get architects and engineers. You see what they're doing in the Netherlands, Holland. You want to know one of the lowest lying spots in the city? Broad at Washington. So essentially you put like a wall around like the old bone dealership, the funeral home. You got a little concrete wall like 8 feet high around it on the corner. And any other properties you want to protect. Maybe that gas station, you buy that out, you abandon that. And you literally need like a bridge over Broad Street and a bridge over Washington, like one would be just, 6 feet in the air or something, just minimal. The other would go over that. And then you dig a big hole right there because it's the lowest lying spot in the city. So it's a great big empty hole that looks like it does today, just a little deeper. But it's, pretty much, I shouldn't say how it looks today because it's probably flooded right now there. But it's normally high and dry. And that's how it would be. But then when there's an outburst like we have right now, weather-wise, rain, a deluge, that bowl would fill up with water and traffic would go right over it. These areas need to be identified. Some things need to be, like the gas station, bought up and abandoned, and that's a huge retention pond. Oh, wow, we're expecting a big rain event at the city. We lower the level in that retention pond. We're pumping it down before the rain event comes. What's the worst case scenario? You have a lower water level in the retention pond for a little while till it rains again? Whoop-de-doo. But if it rains, a deluge, it fills up there instead of in cars, businesses, homes. I mean, all these neutral grounds where parking's allowed on the neutral ground, that just blows me away. The neutral ground's the high ground, where we have no monetary investment, no businesses, no homes, no cars, just the neutral ground. And most of them, no one goes on them. Like Elysian Fields, that's supposed to be a huge retention pond, a linear water feature from the river to the lake. So all of Gentilly and all those other areas, 7th Ward, the rain will just flow right into these retention ponds. And then the rest of the time when it's not raining, great place to jog, ride your bike, sit on a bench, cast a fishing pole, catch some fish. You know, it would attract people to the area. A great example of this, and it's just on a small scale, go out to the Pontchartrain Park neighborhood, right across the street from Suno. Over there on Press Drive, there's the Joe Bartholomew Golf Course. On the Chef Highway side of the golf course, there is this retention pond, this linear water feature. It's in between the street and the neighborhood and the golf course. It helps drain the golf course and it helps drain the neighborhood and keep water off the street and away from the homes. I would guess it's about a couple of 100 yards long, about 30, 40 feet wide. It kind of goes in and out, and it's just full of like pampas grass and all kind of water lilies and plants that filter this water that comes off the streets and roads that might have some oil in it or whatever, filters all that stuff off, and it goes in these ponds. No, you really need to go to this Wagoner and Ball website. Just Google Wagoner and Ball New Orleans water plan. And it is absolutely mind-blowing and fantastic what they're doing, what they've done, and we've really implemented none of it. The opposite. The Mirabeau Water Garden that was being constructed on Mirabeau at St. Bernard Avenue in that old nun's home, ICE raided it and arrested like 15 migrant workers that were helping to dig a retention pond for New Orleans. There are hundreds of construction sites. Go raid one of those if you've got such a hell-bent attitude to, put some notches on the, on the chalkboard or whatever. Like, wow, got some, illegals. Don't raid the water feature project, the retention pond project in New Orleans, one of the few we have going. No, on days like this, if we had retention ponds in New Orleans, Jefferson Parish, by the way, that Wagoner and Ball water plan includes New Orleans Parish, Jefferson Parish, and St. Bernard. Basically the east bank of the South Shore. No, it's incredible. No, if we had this plan, St. Bernard, Jefferson, Orleans, on days like this, we wouldn't have to worry about street flooding. Some cars are getting flooded today. Somebody's business or home's probably taking in some water today. No, this would just be a heavy rain event. And like Amsterdam or Rotterdam, Holland, the Netherlands, they just handle it. They handle it. The playground goes underwater for a day. And then in 2 or 3 days, the kids are back out at the playground. Retention ponds, water features, long overdue. Hey, in about 3 minutes, we're heading to the state capitol. State Senator Pat Connick is going to join us live from the Senate floor, from the Senate chamber. We'll find out what's going on at our legislative session from one of the 39 senators, West Bank Senator Pat Connick. Also, this feud going on, the Connicks and the Kerners. Boy, down in Lafitte, I didn't realize this, but Kerner and now his son, they've been like that family, the dad and now the son, mayor of Lafitte for, man, it must be like 30, 40 years, something like that. on the levee board down there for decades. I don't know. I guess if it's, great things happening down there, why would you want to change? But I don't know. That sounds a little incestuous. U.S. News and World Report, best states for 2025. They ranked all 50. I wonder where Louisiana ranked. 8 categories. I'll give you a hint. Our best category was healthcare. Of the 8. We ranked 44th in that. So you figure out where we ranked on the best states in 2025. U.S. News and World Report. I'll fill you in on that. The Southern Baptists meet a national meeting. They want to ban same-sex marriage. The Southern Baptists. Also, they'd like to return to rotary dial telephones and black and white television sets. The big tube sets, the heavy ones, the monsters. Ones that were like 300 pounds, like an anchor.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. As New Orleans as the mighty Mississippi, Corey Johnson.
The old miss, the old man.
On 93.9 FM and 107.9 FM.
Deep River, my home is over Jordan.
Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. We're going to head to the Senate floor in a second. Find out what's going on with the legislative session. Senator Pat Connick from the West Bank. U.S. News and World Report ranked the 50 best states, 1 through 50. Here's your top 10. Washington State, Massachusetts, South Dakota in at 8, Vermont 7, Florida 6, Nebraska 5, Minnesota 4, Idaho 3, New Hampshire 2, and Utah number 1 state. 8 categories: healthcare, education, natural environment, opportunity, economy, crime and corrections, infrastructure, and fiscal stability. Utah number 1. The 10 lowest ranked states by U.S. News and World Report. In at number, I guess it would be 41. Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Michigan, Arkansas, Alabama. And then the final 5, the low 5, West Virginia, New Mexico, Mississippi, Alaska, Louisiana. Dead last, according to U.S. News and World Report, based on 8 categories: healthcare, education, natural environment, opportunity, economy, crime and corrections, infrastructure, and fiscal stability. Healthcare was our best ranking, 44th. 44th. Education, 46. Natural environment, 49th. Opportunity, 46. Economy, 50th. Crime and corrections, 50th. Infrastructure, 48. Fiscal stability, 46th. Best states in 2025. Utah, number 1. Louisiana, 50th. Thank goodness they didn't have like Guam and Puerto Rico and, some other territories or something we own. U.S. Virgin Islands, we might have been like 52 or 53. You throw D.C. in there, might have been 54, 55, something crazy. No, that's just sad. And you can go, okay, who's U.S. News and World Report? What are these rankings based on? Blah, 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 blah. All of that. It's all relative. It's their rankings. It's nothing outrageous or crazy. It's healthcare, education, natural environment, opportunity, economy, crime and corrections, infrastructure, and fiscal stability. All reasonable things. Now, how they came to these conclusions, I have no idea. But I know they didn't go in there going, let's go against Louisiana. I know they didn't do that. I mean, Louisiana 50th, Alaska 49th, Mississippi 48th, New Mexico, West Virginia, Alabama, Arkansas. Who's arguing with those? I guess, that 41, 42, 43, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Michigan, they might argue. Maybe not Oklahoma. They'd want to argue, but Michigan might have an argument, although, Detroit, that metro area that has been on a steady decline for decades. Pennsylvania, Philly and Pittsburgh. I don't know. If I was in Pennsylvania, I guess I'd argue a little bit, but I don't think anyone's surprised about Louisiana, Alaska, Mississippi, New Mexico, West Virginia, Alabama, or Arkansas being on the bottom. And I don't think anyone's shocked places like New Hampshire, Minnesota, Florida, Vermont, Massachusetts, Washington State are, at the top, not at the bottom. Anyway, U.S. News and World Report, best states in 2025. You can dismiss it, but you can't just totally dismiss it. And being 50th ain't cool. Southern Baptist, speaking about ain't cool, 10,000 peeps representing Southern Baptist congregations from around the country, a national meeting. They'd like to see a ban on same-sex marriage. Why even worry about that? Just crazy. Why is that even a concern? I mean, if I was a Southern Baptist, I wouldn't abandon the religion because of that. I would just ignore that. I'd be like, that's pathetic. That's an embarrassment. It's like, I'm Catholic and priests can't get married. You can't, have gay priests, things of that nature. I just think that's absurd. The Episcopalians have it right. It's Catholic light. That's what everybody jokes that's Catholic. Catholic light. Priests can get married. You can have gay priests. You can have female priests. Just normal. All these goofy rules. We need like Vatican III, in the Catholic Church. It's like some dramatic changes. Anyway, we got a Pope from Chicago with New Orleans ties. That's pretty cool. Getting a little representation. Corey Johnson with you. Miss Peaches, some good news and some bad news, really. Just still bad news. They arrested that idiot, that Shonda Norton woman of Poydras for stealing the Toyota Camry. But I had it wrong, 17-year-old poodle, the little white poodle. Fannie Mae was inside, and this idiot, like I said, probably like someone on drugs or whatever. The car found in the 9th Ward. Police asked, where's the dog? Let it out of the car somewhere in the 9th Ward. Yep. Let's see. According to St. Bernard Sheriff Pullman, I like this: vandalism, theft, and cruelty to animals. I like that. Yeah. That has to be part of the charge. That has to enhance the crime. Almost goes in the hate crime area. She told investigators she left the dog near Murray and Forstall Streets in the lower 9th Ward. Like she knew where she let the dog out. You know what I mean? So hopefully someone found this little poodle. He's probably just running around the streets, and who knows? It's a little doggy too, 17 years old. And weighs between like 6 and 8 pounds. It's like a cat-sized dog, 6 and 8 pounds. It's a little baby poodle, 17 years old, So if someone finds that dog, Fannie Mae, you can call the St. Bernard Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers. No, that's terrible. But, this idiot woman, she's stealing the car. Criminals are stupid to begin with, but then you just don't. It's like people that litter just don't want the trash. The criminal. I don't want the dog. This dog's a hassle with me. This criminal behavior. I just want to drive the stolen car and do what I need to do. I don't need this hassle of the dog. So just lets the dog out and drives off. What an idiot! And then later abandons the car and is caught and now in jail. And the dog's still on the loose. So that sucks. Terrible. Corey Johnson with you. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. Hey, Latrim is hiring. In a couple of weeks, we're going to be halfway through 2025. We're in the middle of June, if you can believe that. June 11th already. In 2.5 weeks, half of 2025's in the book. 6 months in, 6 months to go. It seemed like it was just a few weeks ago we were in late 2025. New Year's resolutions, get in shape, go to the gym, watch what I eat, give up alcohol. What? Get a new job, get a new career. Latrim's got you covered on that one. There are very few companies, sadly, in Metro New Orleans like Latrim. Born and bred, based in New Orleans, a private company, doing over $1 billion in worldwide business. This is an international company that's based in New Orleans. They have warehouses, facilities on every continent on the planet. They do tremendous business in Asia, in Europe, tremendous business in the Middle East, in China. No, Latrim, the inventors of the shrimp peeling machine, a New Orleans-made machine. Still to this day, years and decades of improvements, technological advancements in the shrimp peeling machine. The Latrim machine still number one in the world. That invention from J.M. Lapierre led to the all-plastic modular conveyor belts. If it's an assembly line, a manufacturing facility in the world, there's a pretty good chance an Intralox all-plastic modular conveyor belt is part of it, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, Ford, Anheuser-Busch. The technology of these conveyor belts is unbelievable. The industry standard around the world. Intralox, part of Latrim, part of New Orleans. Lapierre stair, the alternating tread stair. Check it all out, a culture of innovation at Latrim.com. They also have a full listing of positions available. And it's not like 2 or 3 job openings on this website. Dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs available. East Bankers, West Bankers, they've got a job, a career for you at their Elmwood facility. Join the other 1,400 or so that are working there, literally. About 100 acres in Elmwood making up Latrim, 100. And they've got a few acres and a few hundred employees on I-12 on the North Shore. You North Shore folks don't have to cross the lake to have a job, a career at Latrim. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. Latrim.com. We're going to hook up with Pat Connick in just a few minutes, state senator. He's literally on the Senate floor. He could be voting. That's why we didn't get him in this last segment, but we'll get him in the next one or the one after. Like working. Now, I want to find out what's going on with the legislative session and also this feud between the Connicks and the Kerners down in Jean Lafitte. No, there's like another levy. You remember we had the consolidation of all these levy boards? Small communities. People just didn't want to give up their fiefdom. It's how Louisiana works. Like every 40 miles, there's a major college or university in Louisiana. Yet we're terrible in public education. Figure that one out for me. No, too many of those. A lot of those 4-year universities should be, 2-year schools. Then you go on to the 4-year school. We don't have lots of junior colleges, say like Mississippi. But we have way too many colleges and universities for our state and population. It's crazy. We'll visit with State Senator Pat Connick. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday. Rainy and wet out there. Be careful driving home.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak tree. Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab. Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
Look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harraham. Changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 4 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good buddy. Oh, man, that thunder and rain earlier today. Totally, my Australian Shepherd. He's a brute. You get a little thunder and lightning going, he gets scared. Yeah. Yeah, that lightning and thunder, it is a little scary. Especially when it's loud and you can feel it. And then the rain comes down. A lot of rain, street flooding out there in parts of the metro. So take your time, be careful. Hey, let's head to the Senate floor, the state capitol. Literally, the legislative session going on. State Senator Pat Connick joins us live from Baton Rouge, West Bank Senator. How you doing, Pat?
Doing great, Corey. One more day up here, and it's over.
So final day of the session?
Yes, sir.
What's been going through lately? Just significant things that are game changers, or is it just a bunch of loose ends and, naming a bridge after someone in North Louisiana type stuff?
No, you get some, we have the money bills are all finished and figured out. We're going to vote on those, tomorrow to finish them up. I think they're going to be all accepted with no surprises, and it's a big difference than it was in the past, where it was the last final hours where we were scrambling around. But the way we made things happen is that now we have 4 days before the session ends, so everybody can take a look at it and relax. Today was the legislation. It's a big bill concerning legacy lawsuits and groundwater and some other issues that it doesn't sound sexy, but it's very important stuff that affects everybody. And then there's an issue that we're going to vote on tomorrow, I think, on this the way pharmacies operate. The middleman, it's called these management companies that act as a buffer between the CVSs and the manufacturing, the drug manufacturers. So we're going to try to rein in on that and lower some cost, and that's going to be discussed tomorrow and voted on tomorrow.
I noticed there was, some legislation that passed earlier about insurance companies. What about the lawyers advertising? Anything at all this session about that?
The bill was filed on that, but it hasn't come to the Senate floor. I don't think it will. There were some major changes to, the auto insurance laws and the way juries hear evidence in court that's going to benefit the insurance companies. And it should lower the cost of lawsuits, the payouts of lawsuits significantly, especially when it comes to medical payments. If you're 51% in an accident and you can't recover, it's stuff like that was passed. And that's what the insurance company said they need to lower the rates. We gave it to them. Let's see what happens.
It's what they do in other states, right?
Yep. But but every year they said, this is what we need. We give it to them and say, we need a little bit more. So we'll see.
Yeah, but y'all at least are doing something with the insurance companies, trying to lower rates. But it's disappointing that the lawyers just skate by free. All these advertising attorneys, they have the last laugh. The Morris Barts of the world with the $1.5 million lawsuit against the cop whose vehicle tapped the bumper of someone he pulled over, and that person couldn't have broke a fingernail, yet he's trying to get $1.5 million. That's just one of thousands of examples. We have twice the lawsuits of the rest of the country. We had more claims in Louisiana than New York State. We have 4.5 million people. They have 22 million. So the advertising lawyers with the sort of an incentive to sue. And then I thought Tim Temple made a great point, Pat. A lot of people see that as you have to hire an attorney if you're making an insurance claim. So that's kind of a bummer. Hey, what were some of the money bills that you mentioned that were significant that are going to change things?
You know, we've given $50 million to the $30 million for the Gator program, which is where public school children can go to private schools or charter schools of their choice. They were asking for more money. That didn't transpire. So we gave them $30 million last year. We gave them $30 million again this year. There's a lot of disappointment in that. We're dealing with the racetrack issue with the fairgrounds. You know, they wanted money. The Churchill Downs folks wanted money, or else they're going to move. And you know, that's going to be addressed tomorrow with an amendment to make the fairgrounds racetrack a historical property that cannot be, you know, destroyed. So you get a lot of moving parts in the works, but overall we have a balanced budget. We're funding our health care and our schools, and you know, Jefferson Parish is getting a big chunk of stuff. With Zephyr Field and on the West Bank, we're building this travel ballpark that's going to really, I think, explode the Avondale area, make it a travel destination. Cynthia Lee Shang is behind it, and we're all behind it, and hopefully that can turn that part of the West Bank into something very, very good.
So like for AAU, and it's going to be mom and dad from the region driving in the SUV minivan, staying overnight, and their kids playing at this sports complex on the West Bank. That's what you're talking about, Pat?
It's going to be like a Cooperstown setup is the goal, where the kids stay in dormitories on the property, and the parents and their friends have to leave and go to hotels and restaurants and whatever outside the complex.
Yeah.
But right there, Corey, you got the golf tour, you got the TPC. In between, you have this massive baseball sports complex for girls softball and men's and boys baseball. And then you get the NOLA Motorsports with all the amenities there. Then you got the fishing in Oswego with the Bayou Signet State Park. They got a wave pool in the state park that we need to get up and running again. So it can be a really good place for families to come and spend some money.
And Zephyr Field's going to be what, kind of converted from baseball to football, soccer, lacrosse, that type of thing?
Yeah, I just looked at that budget item. Zephyr Field is going to get like $7.5 million in cash and another $5 million in enough capital outlay money to really expand and make that a more usable facility for soccer and those type of things.
Yep. State Senator Pat Connick is with us live from the Senate in Baton Rouge. Tomorrow is the last day of the legislative session. Hey, the fairgrounds, you mentioned there's going to be a bill tomorrow, or an addition to an existing bill, making the fairgrounds a historic site. Can't be messed with. Nothing about trying to get money to Churchill Downs. Not that I think they deserve it or not. I don't know enough about it, but they say they can't work without some kind of subsidy now. Is
right.
anything addressing that, or no?
You know, I think the Churchill Downs, when you think of Churchill Downs, you think about the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
But besides that, they're a gambling company.
That is correct.
They live on slots. They live on video poker. One thing we have in the state, and I'm talking about, we got too many races, too many horse racing dates that dilutes the field. The purses are smaller. We have more races here than they do in Kentucky, as I'm told. And that is not helping. I think less is best. But you get a lot of horsemen on Lake Charles area. You know, they want to have these races. But there's got to be a balance somehow. But we're out of balance. A lot of money comes from these video poker machines and these off-track betting machines.
Yep.
But to own a racehorse and to run a fairgrounds with live horse racing is expensive. the easy money is with the video poker and the gaming, because you don't pay a machine.
Yeah, no, you're right, Pat.
But
No, you nailed it too.
That's the industry.
They're a gambling company. I mean, the Kentucky Derby, the few days around that is first class, world class. The rest of that season at Churchill Downs, there's no one there. That place is empty. So yeah, you're right. It's not a horse racing company anymore with prestige and honor. And I'm not dogging the gaming industry, but it's that. It's not, this old school, fairgrounds or Churchill Downs kind of thing.
It's all about money, and the business needs to make money to operate, and they saying they can't operate with how it's been set up.
Yep.
But we'll see.
Hey, what happened to your bill to create new regulations for members of the Lafitte Area Independent Levy District Board? Like prohibiting them from accepting or giving political donations, restricting when board members can run for office, things of that nature. What happened with that?
Well, that passed the House. That passed the Senate with flying colors, and passed it through two committees with no issue, but got killed in the House by I think a 30 to 48 vote with 28 senators 28 reps walking. But I think the whole sometimes when you lose a bill, you win because it brings attention to the issue.
Yep.
And that's what this bill did. I think every levy board across the state, if you're a member of that board, you shouldn't be able to give a campaign contribution or take one. Flat out across the board. And so your decisions won't be influenced by campaign contributions, but by
politics.
Needs of the people. We need levies.
Yep.
And what's the best engineer company to do the work at the best price instead of, this guy gave me some money, so I owe him this contract. That's got to go.
Now in Lafitte, Tim Kerner Sr. was mayor for decades, right?
Yeah, that family is strong and powerful, and they got a long history of the mayors, and they've done a good job. They got a tight-knit community down there that they fight for. You got to give them that. But the levy board that they have is not, it's called independent levy district, but it's not independent because it relies on Go Mesa money, state money, and the little money they generate from the millage that they get is not enough to pay the salaries of the 4 people there. I think it needs to be incorporated into the big levy district as a team, work as a unit. We're stronger as one.
Yep.
We've given a lot of money, over $100 million worth of projects that I support down there, but the money's got to be spent properly, and engineers can't be. You can't be influenced by the engineers in their campaign contributions, but that's across the state. That's a problem.
Now, let me just get this right. Timothy Kerner Sr. was mayor for decades down in Lafitte and was on the levy board down there. And now he's a state rep, and his son is the mayor of Lafitte and on the levy board down there. Is that right?
Well, his son just got elected to parish council for Jefferson Parish, so he's no longer there. Right now they got 3 new members on the board, and these are all members, people who live down there that own businesses. They want levies. They're not politicians. They're not elected officials. They want to look at where the money's coming in and where's it going out and build the levies without all the political influences.
Yep.
And that's the way it should be. So I think that levy board is well on its way of being transformed into something that's apolitical.
You're going to get that done this session by tomorrow?
Yeah, that's not by legislation, but by appointments that can be done.
Gotcha. Pat, always a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime, Corey. Take care.
That's State Senator Pat Connick joining us from the floor in BR. Corey Johnson with you, coming right back.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Yeah, you right. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson back at you. Pat Connick joining us on the show. That's good. Zephyr Field's going to get some money, convert it from like a baseball stadium to football, high school football, rugby, lacrosse, soccer. No, that's a good move. That's a good move. You know, if Metro New Orleans ever wants a minor league baseball team, you do that Southern League, the AA ball, AA, not AAA. And you get in that I-10 league that's going down right now. You know, Biloxi has a AA team in the Southern Association. Mobile has had one historically in the Southern Association for decades and decades. Pensacola has a minor league park in downtown Pensacola, right on the bay. That Mobile, Alabama, Henry Aaron Field, that's pretty cool. But it's like on I-65 instead of like in downtown Mobile. And Zephyr Stadium, I get it. It was the New Orleans gets the arena. Jefferson Parish gets a baseball stadium for minor league baseball. The West Bank gets the Hilario Center. I mean, I'm not kidding you. That's how all that went down. Yeah, everybody had to get a little piece because the main thing was getting the arena built. Well, Zephyr Stadium now, there's no minor league team. So that River District, if they ever break ground on that, I mean, they've only talked about it for 4 years. I don't see Top Golf getting built. I don't see the Shell building getting built. But that's where you put a minor league baseball stadium. A AA team in New Orleans, like 3,500 seat stadium with all chair back seats and a nice berm out on the riverfront for extra fans. Could you imagine, where it's set up where right field, you crank one out of right field, it goes in the Mississippi River? And then center field is center right is the Crescent City Connection. Center left is, the Warehouse District. And then left field's the downtown and even the Dome slipping out the window. You set it up with the bridge and the skyline and the river. I mean, it could be an incredible minor league baseball stadium. You make it state of the art. They say that LSU, like the guts of LSU, Bertman Box, the LSU's baseball stadium, the locker rooms, the, training rooms, all the facilities, batting cages, where pitchers can wear everything. They say better than some major league baseball teams, better than some major league teams at LSU, much less minor league. No, you make it state of the art. You make it as nice as it can be. And you will have people go into those games. The baseball is irrelevant. It's a distraction almost. It's an incidental. It's the before the game, going to a bar, restaurant, like you're at Fenway in Boston, and then you cross the street and go into the stadium, and then you're in the stadium and it's on the riverfront and it's nice weather and you're outdoors. No, it's got a lot of potential. If minor league baseball ever comes back, it would be there. So Zephyr Field abandoning the baseball configuration, essentially, adding some bleachers along the other sideline and making it more football and soccer and lacrosse oriented. Brilliant idea. No, you never need a minor league baseball back there ever again. You don't want it in the suburbs. You want it like downtown. And then they're talking about, this is interesting, this West Bank baseball and softball complex, similar to what Troy Henry wants to do in New Orleans East out at the Six Flags site. You see, Troy Henry is a middleman, and I'm not being critical or saying, boy, this is insane that Troy Henry got the Six Flags, project. Lieutenant Governor Billy Nunges was on the show saying there should be no middlemen getting any kind of project. But essentially, Troy Henry's no different from you or me getting that project. Now he has to go out there and find a water park. He has to go out there and find people that'll build hotels. He has to go out there and find folks that will build baseball fields and soccer fields and a sports complex. He's got to find people that are going to build an arcade for the kids. I mean, all these projects are just, they're almost like dream projects. There's no money there. Troy Henry doesn't have any investment in any of this stuff. He's strictly the guy who won the bid, and now he has to, since he has control of the property, he has to go out and find these people to invest in the property. The West Bank, it looks like they're going to build some baseball diamonds and softball fields for kids around the region, their families to come into town. Similar concept to what Troy Henry's talking about. You heard what Pat Connick said, like build dorms on the site for the kids to stay, but the parents go stay in town at the hotels and enjoy the restaurants and New Orleans and the like. It's almost like a camp type setting, similar to what Troy Henry was talking about. So if the West Bank gets this with baseball and softball fields and has any kind of success, are outside investors going to be like, wow, I want to go to Six Flags with Troy Henry and compete against that? Or will Jefferson Parish say, hey, let's expand to soccer fields too and basketball courts and make it a sports complex for the region? So all of a sudden, you've got a competing interest, West Bank Sports Complex and Six Flags. So, no, I guess I am a little critical of the city more than Troy Henry. Troy Henry just won it. Drew Brees and Demario Davis were runner-ups for Six Flags. No, it's just sadly pathetic of the city. Troy Henry even admitted this when I had him on the show. I'm like, Troy, if the city wasn't so dysfunctional and they proactively, aggressively marketed that Six Flags site, it would be like Flying J Truck Stop or Buc-ee's or Bass Pro Shop Cabela's or Disney or some water park company or some AAU field company, Field of Dreams. It would have been someone like that bidding on it, right? And he's sort of saying, yeah, he kind of admitted it. Even admitted, yeah, I wouldn't win this if it wasn't dysfunctional New Orleans. I mean, Drew Brees and Demario Davis being the runner-ups coming in second says it all. It's like, what? What is that? Should have been the winner, Bass Pro Shop Cabela's, runner-up, Flying J Truck Stop, something like that. Think about this, the Six Flags thing, Troy Henry and those guys got that like years ago, like 3 years ago. About 18 months later after that, Buc-ee said, we're going to build in Mississippi. Buc-ee's is open. They haven't driven a piling at Six Flags in New Orleans East. No, that says it all right there. That says it all right there. What's that, Blue Boy? You should have won the bid for the Six Flags site. You could have gone out as well as anyone and solicited folks to kind of fill the bill. Be a middleman, a middle dog, a middle basset hound. You're right, Blue Boy. You could have done it, buddy. Coming right back.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint. That's why.
Oh, yeah, here we go. The 5 o'clock power hour on a wide open Wednesday coming your way. 5 o'clock power hour on this wide open Wednesday brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating, because paint ain't paint. Helm Paint and Decorating. Benjamin Moore, high quality paint. Benjamin Moore, Helm Paint and Decorating. I painted my house with Benjamin Moore paint. Lifetime guarantee I'll never have to paint my house again, because paint ain't paint. Best paint on the planet, Benjamin Moore. Helm Paint and Decorating. 7 locations in New Orleans, 4 in Baton Rouge. When you got to paint in New Orleans and Baton Rouge, Helm Paint and Decorating. 5 o'clock powwow this afternoon, brought to you by Helm Paint and Decorating. Yeah, do it once, do it right, steering you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating. Boy, a lot going on. A whole lot. Pat Connick joined us last hour for a few minutes, live from the Senate floor. State Senator from DeBest Bank, Pat Connick. Tomorrow, the final day of the legislative session. Final day, mañana. A New Orleans poll, I think 800 people were asked. Multiple questions. I've got those poll results. Mayor LaToya Cantrell, 27% approve of her job. That's amazing. 1 in 4 people approve of what the mayor's doing. 1 in 4. Mind-blowing. What's wrong with you, 1 in 4 people? Such low expectations. Anyway, 27% approve, 62% disapprove of what the mayor's doing, her job. City Council, 47% approve, 36% disapprove. So they're on the positive side. More people like approve of what the council's doing than disapprove of what the council's doing. As far as the mayor, it's, 2.5 to 1, or more, a little less than that, 2 point something. 27% approve, 62% disapprove. Ann Kirkpatrick, NOPD chief, 53% approve, 26% disapprove. DA Jason Williams, 51% approve, 29% disapprove. Sheriff Susan Hudson, she has a lower rating than LaToya Cantrell, 18% approve, 62% disapprove. Susan Hudson, do not run for re-election, for crying out loud. Orleans Parish Criminal Court judges, 31% approve. What's wrong with you people? 38% disapprove. Orleans Parish Juvenile Court judges, 21% approve, 43% disapprove. Sewage and Water Board, 14% approve, 79% disapprove. Now, see, I would argue that the Sewage and Water Board today is better than it's been maybe in many of our lifetime, many of us in our entire lifetime. I had Gosson Corbin on about 6 weeks ago before he retired. And it was funny. I got a couple of jokers who are just always negative and cynical. That's how they live their life on Twitter. Know-it-alls that are just jaded, cynical, just negative. Kind of, what an easy interview. Why didn't you ask him about this? Why didn't you ask him about that? All these things in the past. I'm like, I've had this guy on dozens of times. I've asked him about all those things you're talking about in the past. But this guy was leaving, and if he sucked, then maybe it's more of a confrontational type of interview. But since Gosson Corbin only did great things at the Sewage and Water Board, great things. Think about what the Sewage and Water Board was and what it became under this guy after 7 years. That Turbine 4 is about to go away for good. We'll never hear about that 1915 era turbine ever again. Turbine 5 from the late 50s, that'll be going away soon. Turbine 6 is like a jet engine. Turbine 7's like a jet engine. That's about to be put online. The power plant is about to be put online. That's a couple of $100 million. Those 2 water towers were put up during the Corbin administration, which helps keep water pressure up, vitally needed. Smart meters going up all across the city. Sewage and Water Board taking over, cleaning the catch basins from the city. I mean, I go on and on. Getting rid of the riffraff, people using the illegal parking, the handicap parking permit downtown, the people stealing brass. They're gone. No, major changes unless you haven't been paying attention at all. And apparently, I mean, it's typical New Orleans. Sewage and Water Board, 14% approved, 79% disapprove. That's the easy thing. I know the Sewage and Water Board has problems, but boy, major improvements. If every city department was run by a guy like Ghassan Corbin, the city of New Orleans would be much farther ahead. I guess that would be much further ahead. Further, a degree, not a distance. We'd be much further ahead. Anyway. Is the city going in the right direction or on the wrong track? Right direction, 28%. Wrong track, 65%. What is the most important issue facing New Orleans? Crime and public safety, 27% most important, 19% second most important. Street repair and maintenance, 17% most important, 20% second most. Lack of low-income housing, 15% most important, 18% second. Drainage and flooding, 12% most important, 18% second most. Homelessness, 8% most important, 15% second most. Climate change, 7%, 6% second. So most important issues, crime and public safety, 1, street repair and maintenance, 2, infrastructure, 2, lack of low-income housing, 3, drainage and flooding, 4, homelessness, 5, and climate change, 6. Job approval on handling crime. Mayor LaToya Cantrell, 26% approve, 62% disapprove. City Council, 40% approve, 47% disapprove. How do you approve of the mayor's handling of infrastructure issues, streets, drainage? 21% approve, 76% disapprove. Who would you vote for in the upcoming mayoral election? Helena Moreno, 47%. Oliver Thomas, 22%. Arthur Hunter, 9%. Don't know, 22%. Those numbers are almost exactly what the poll had a few weeks ago, that analytics poll. I think Helena Moreno had like 53%, so only 5 percentage points off from that. Oliver Thomas had 23 in the poll. He has 22 in this, so almost the same. Arthur Hunter had 11% in the poll. He's got 9 on this, almost the same. The don't know is 22. It was 15%. That's pretty much making up the difference from Helena Moreno and Oliver Thomas. So, yeah, Helena Moreno, prohibitive favorite to win the mayor's race. Oliver Thomas has a tremendous uphill battle. He is clearly the underdog. It's not a neck-and-neck race. It's not a toss-up. Helena Moreno is the clear favorite, like 2-1. And what I was saying before there were any polls or anything out there is all coming true. Helena Moreno, the number one voting demographic in New Orleans, black females. Helena Moreno is a black Latina. She's going to get some black female votes because black females will be like, she's a female. Race will be secondary. Female to female connection. Some black women will vote for Helena Moreno because she is a woman. And then she's Latina, not white. And then they like maybe what she's all about more than Oliver Thomas, on and on and on. So whatever that, number of black female voters is, it's the largest demographic. Helena Moreno is going to get a big chunk of it. 20, 25, 30%, maybe more. I said that from day one, and it's all proving to be true. They make up the number one voting block. If I'm Oliver Thomas, I focus in on black females almost exclusively. You're not going to get many white votes if you're Oliver Thomas. It's a waste of time. Black females, you need to slow down. You need to decrease Helena Moreno's momentum there. I just don't know how you do that. She's got like 2 million in her war chest. Oliver Thomas has like 300,000, like 7-8 times more money. So Helena Moreno will start ramping up advertising and promotion and marketing and pushing her campaign in the next few weeks. And Oliver Thomas is going to have to wait Wait an extra month. Wait an extra 6 weeks. Now, come August, September, football season, heading into this October election, they'll be flooding the airwaves, everybody. But Helena Moreno will get a few months jump start on Oliver Thomas if she wants because of the sheer war chest she has accumulated. Who would you vote for in the upcoming sheriff's election? Susan Hudson, 13%. Edwin Shorty is at 9%. I mean, Edwin Shorty would almost beat Susan Hudson. Michelle Woodfork, 32%. Don't know. Marlon Gussman, you listening? Marlon Gussman joined us on the show a few weeks ago, said he's considering running for mayor. Don't know, 46%. Michelle Woodfork's going to take that election unless Marlon Gussman gets in the race. Then it would probably be a Michelle Woodfork, Marlon Gussman runoff. 766-9480. Corey Johnson with you. 766-9480. A court rules against the mayor in that case against Ann Bro. You know, the mayor's just such a lunatic. She's on the Tableau balcony with Officer Vappy, yucking it up. They're obviously on a date. They're enjoying wine. They're having a good time. Vappy is armed while drinking. He's on duty while drinking. I mean, it's just a joke. Vappy's an embarrassment. And it's great time.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you're right. Corey Johnson back at you. Wide Open Wednesday. You're the show producer. Want to join the program? 766-9480. Yeah, I was saying that Vappy was a joker. No, Ann Bro lives in the Pontalba. Her balcony is directly across the street from Tableau. So, like, if she's on her balcony, literally like 30, 35 feet away tops. I mean, I don't know if it's 35 feet. It's from her balcony directly across the street to Tableau. The mayor's yucking it up with Vappy. She sees it. She snaps a photo. The mayor goes ballistic. This woman's stalking me. This woman's taking photos. This mayor has video, hundreds of hours of video of me, all this nonsense. Court ruled once against the mayor. Got to pay $15,000. Court costs for Bro. The mayor appeals, just lost again, another $8,000. So the mayor's out $23,000 she has to pay Ann Bro's attorneys. And there's going to be a, civil suit where Ann Bro is going to get money from the mayor directly or from the city of New Orleans. No, because the mayor got Ann Bro's driver's license, used her authority to somehow get Ann Bro's driver's license. And the mayor's not supposed to be able to do that. And it exposed Ann Bro and embarrassed Ann Bro. She's got good points on all of this. The mayor's just, I hate this term, but I think this is by definition, butthurt. She's just bummed out that she got caught. And she wants to, I think yesterday when I had Dan Reel on, he said something that I think was just tremendous. He said, Mayor LaToya Cantrell, it's a horrible trait, but she cannot be embarrassed. There's nothing she can do where she's embarrassed. We've all been embarrassed, my God. You think of things that you did that are embarrassing, it embarrasses you today that you did it because you know it was embarrassing. You're like, boy, what was I thinking? That is so embarrassing what I did. The mayor is incapable of being embarrassed, where she's like, that's embarrassing. She just, that's what happens when you have no integrity, pride, honor, ethics, no code, where you just do not give a crap. And the mayor is that, doubling down by being belligerent and hell-bent against what's normal. They don't want me to eat on the city's dime. I'm going to go eat on the city's dime. They don't want me flying first class. I'm going to fly first class. They don't want me going to this petty convention. I'm going. I think a great point was made. It's it's almost better when the mayor's out of town. Because if she's here, she can only screw things up. Only can make things worse. So not being here might be a plus. Anyway, court rules against the mayor, as they should. She's wrong. Chandra Norton of Poydras, this woman who stole the Camry with the 17-year-old toy poodle, Fannie Mae inside, 6 to 8 pound little poodle. The Camry was found in the lower Ninth Ward. Chandra Norton was arrested by St. Bernard's sheriff deputies, and she told them she just dumped the dog off somewhere in the Ninth Ward, which it is a 17-year-old toy poodle. So it's probably not used to being out on the street at all. And it's 6 to 8 pounds. So a cat, definitely a feral cat, can really mess that dog up. And some coyote or something can just snatch that dog and kill that dog. That dog is so, tiny that almost almost a large bird could scoop that dog up. 6 pounds, 7 pounds, 17 years old. That's an elderly dog, 17 years old. That dog is probably scared and requires care. Hopefully that dog's still alive. The dog's name's Fannie Mae. So hopefully someone finds that dog and returns that dog to its owner. I would be heartbroken. Heartbroken. All I can assume, Miss Beaches, and it's an assumption on my part, that the woman left the car running with the dog in the car, went into the store, and kept the dog in the car and had the AC running. That's all I can assume. And then Chandra Norton saw the running car and jumped into it and took off. That's all I can assume. 766-9480 is the phone number. 766-9480. Let's head to the phone lines. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Join the conversation like Rob in New Orleans is doing. What's up, Rob?
Hey, Corey, a few things. I completely agree. People complain when LaToya Cantrell's out of town. I'm like, it's probably better, and she doesn't get along with the city council anyway. But I was listening to your interview with Pat Connick, and, they said the only thing they accomplished with the insurance was, something about the, when they were,
if you're more 51% responsible, you can't get compensation.
Right. But the thing is this, as you pointed out with that Tim Temple interview, hardly any of these cases go to trial anyway. So that was completely meaningless. And nothing about the advertising.
It wasn't meaningless, but I think the advertising is a much bigger problem. And obviously, the Morris Barts, the Dudley DeBosiers, these rich to even wealthy people. I mean, Morris Bart lives on Audubon Place, so I would say he's wealthy. He claimed he's done $1 billion in claims. That means he's pulled 350 to 400 million himself. So they obviously have money and power and hired strong lobbyists. Who knows? They may have all gotten together. Gordon, Bart, don't take a check till you check with me. Dudley DeBosier, all the big wigs, and said, guys, let's pool some money, hire some lobbyists, and make sure these advertising restriction bills don't gain any traction.
It is public information. It would be interesting to see which personal injury lawyers have contributed to which legislators. But one last thing I want to say that is positive, there's a bill going to the Senate that will enable the French Quarter to pick its own garbage contract.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that. I'm wondering how quickly that would go into effect, and will it affect the existing contract?
I don't know, but I wish him the best. All right, Corey, I'm going to hang up and listen. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Rob. I think Ivy Waste has till the end of July, maybe 6-7 more weeks tops. August 1st, Henry Consulting takes over, or Richards, I guess.
Have you seen all the signs in the French Quarter?
Oh, yeah, they won Ivy Waste.
I mean, tell me how you really feel.
No, exactly. Well, here's the sinful part. It's typical Mayor Cantrell. If Troy Henry had his you-know-what together, he'd have the contract. But he didn't. He gets the contract, and then the sub, Richards, and him are suing each other. So the city had no choice but to have an emergency contract. They awarded to Ivy Waste. It's for 1 year. Honor that contract. What does that tell anybody anywhere? If the city has an emergency contract, do you go get the money? Do you go hire the people? Do you go get the equipment? And then your year contract gets shortened to half a year or something? It tells people to stay away from the city. So honor the 1 year contract. And then it ends in December of this year. So Troy Henry or Richards or Metro or River Parish or Serve Pro or, Ivy Waste, they can all bid on it. And Troy Henry could win it. But honestly, and I've got to get Troy Henry on the show because I think Troy Henry's an honorable guy. But I think there's something going on where the mayor is expecting monetary returns in some way, form, or fashion, either a job post, being mayor with Troy Henry Consulting or out at Six Flags or some monetary compensation, because by awarding this contract, by eliminating the Ivy Waste contract and giving it to Troy Henry, it is an 8-year, $73 million deal. 8 years, $73 million. No, any honorable person would have Ivy Waste finished till December. And then obviously before that, in the next month or two, August, September, a bid for January 1st, 2026, and the next 8 years for the CBD and the French Quarter. But no, the mayor is hell-bent to give it to Troy Henry, and I'm wondering if there's some quid pro quo where the mayor is expecting a job with Troy Henry after January. Because Troy Henry's going to make millions of dollars in profit, as would any trash contractor. It's 8 years, $73 million. If Troy Henry gets 10% return, and it's going to be more than that, that's $7.3 million. That's $1 million a year. That's 80, 100 grand profit every month. And he's not doing any work. Richards is doing the work. So hiring the mayor, promising the mayor a gig, wink, wink, look the other way. No, I got to get Troy Henry on the show and just ask him, Troy, I never have to worry about you hiring the mayor after she's mayor, right? You get this lucrative trash contract. LaToya Cantrell will never work for you, will never get $1 from you in the future, right? Not directly or indirectly, right? No way to trace that to you, right? That should be easy and a no-brainer. But no, just the mayor is hell-bent on giving this contract to Troy Henry. When the fair thing to do is let Ivy Waste continue through December, and then in the next couple of months, you have a new bid for the future contract after December. And Troy Henry maybe wins that. Maybe Ivy Waste wins it. Who knows? That's the fair thing. Because Troy Henry wins the original contract. He subs it out because he's not a trash guy, doesn't own a company, doesn't own any trucks, subs it out to Richards. Richards and Troy Henry proceed to have an argument where they're falling out, where they're suing each other. That's another point that Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser said. Why are we hiring middlemen that sub it out? Hire someone that's a trash company that has the trucks and they do it for a living. So you don't have these falling outs. You don't have to have the emergency bid. So no, Troy Henry, he didn't have his you-know-what together. So he lost the contract. The mayor is hell-bent on giving him the contract. But yeah, Rob called in talking about legislation that'll let the French Quarter residents pick their own trash contractor. That may pass, but I don't know if it applies to right now. And if it doesn't, it'll be 8 years before they'll be able to pick their trash contractor. Corey Johnson with you on a wide open Wednesday.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
As New Orleans as coffee in the morning and as New Orleans as coffee in the morning and raw oysters for lunch. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
Hey, if you wear prescription eyewear like me, or you need a great pair of sunglasses, Art and Eyes on Magazine. Google them. Art and Eyes on Magazine. Eyewear as unique as you. What I like to say, name brands you've never, ever heard of, and that's a good thing. Because the ones you have heard of, probably under the Luxottica name. Speaking of Googling, Google them. Just a mafia-run organization producing Chinese junk. Their glasses are terrible. And they own, name brands that used to be good. I loved Revo and Persol. Italian brands made in Italy. Now it's all Luxottica Chinese crap. Ray-Ban, a great U.S. company. Luxottica owned Chinese crap. Art and Eyes has name brands you've never heard of. Makita, Matsuda, Jacques-Marie Mage. Go to their website. Like 50, 60 designer brands, the best in the world. Art and Eyes on Magazine, and all different price points. Art and Eyes on Magazine. Google them. I know a lot of you aren't golf fans, but tomorrow the U.S. Open takes place at Oakmont in Pennsylvania. And the way the course is set up, the U.S. Open's always, quote, the toughest test in golf. This year, it's like one of the toughest U.S. Open courses. It's diabolical. The rough is this week, mark my words, 2 things that never happen in pro golf are going to happen. One for sure, there'll be a ball hit into the rough at Oakmont and it'll be lost. That someone will incur a lost ball penalty, a professional player, which is just unheard of. There's a gallery, there's fans, there's television coverage. There'll be a lost ball because the rough is that gnarly, that insane. Second thing, I think the winner of this tournament, it might be like 1 or 2 under, maybe 3 under. This course is painfully tough. Narrow fairways, ridiculously high rough, like 5 inches and thick and gnarly. Like you can't advance the ball out of the rough. You just hack at it to try to get it back in the fairway. And the greens are like a pool table, lightning fast, and all kind of undulations and different tiers and levels. There'll be professional golfers putting off the green this weekend, starting tomorrow. Rounds 1 and 2, then they cut down to the best for Saturday and Sunday. And you're going to see professional golfers doing what amateurs do. Putting off the green, losing a ball in the rough, and maybe the winner isn't even under par. I wouldn't be shocked if the winner of this tournament's like 1 or 2 over par. The course is going to be that tough. No, my point is maybe something to watch because there's some sort of satisfaction where Yeah, because it's not unfair. It's right up against the wall of unfair. If they do a little bit more, it would be unfair. So the U.S. Open, the USGA, they try to make it to, the toughest test in golf. In Oakmont, a lot of these pros are saying this is the toughest golf course in the world. This is going to be the toughest golf course in the world. Pretty crazy. Check it out. It's fun to watch these pros that are, killing it on these weekly country club courses. And now they're playing this mighty Oakmont, which is going to bite them in the rear end. No, it's fun to watch. U.S. News and World Report, best states in 2025. They ranked the 50 states, 1 through 50. Louisiana. There are 8 categories. Healthcare, education, natural environment, opportunity, economy, crime and corrections as one category, infrastructure and fiscal stability. Louisiana did best in healthcare, 44th out of 50. Education, 46. Natural environment, 49. Opportunity, 46. Economy, 50th, dead last. Crime and corrections, 50th, dead last. Infrastructure, 48th. Fiscal stability, 46th. Louisiana ranked 50th overall. 50th, dead last. U.S. News World Report. 10 lowest ranked states. Pennsylvania, 10. Oklahoma, 9. Michigan, 8. Arkansas, 7. Alabama, 6. West Virginia, 5. New Mexico, 4. Mississippi, 3. Alaska, 2. Louisiana, number 1. Lowest ranked state by U.S. News and World Report, ranked 50th. Top 10, Washington State in at 10, Massachusetts 9, North Dakota 8, Vermont 7, Florida 6, Nebraska 5, Minnesota 4, Idaho 3, New Hampshire 2, Utah number 1. Healthcare, education, natural environment, opportunity, economy, crime and corrections, infrastructure, and fiscal stability. Louisiana, those are the 8 categories. We're 50th out of 50 states. Like I said last hour, thank God Puerto Rico, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands weren't included. We might have ranked 52nd. D.C., the District of Columbia ranked as a state. We might have ranked 52nd, 53rd. Yikes. Dead last, U.S. News and World Report. You could say, screw U.S. News and World Report, whatever. I hear you. So what if they're wrong on a lot of stuff? What are we, 40th, 42? You were still bottom, 10, 20% at best. So I look at this and it sucks, I don't think U.S. News and World Report has an agenda against Louisiana. And for you to ignore it, I think you're just putting your head in the sand. I'm not saying it's gospel and get all depressed, but I think it's legit. There's a lot of legitimacy to it. Oh, boy. The Menendez brothers could be paroled. A judge, instead of a life sentence, he reduced it to 50 years, which makes them eligible for parole. And since they've served 35 years, they're eligible for parole. I don't know if they're going to get it or not. Family members are they need to get out. Anyway, the Menendez brothers, I'll tell you what, their jail photos, they look like they're pretty damn well adjusted.
They're celebrities.
Kind of crazy.
They act like celebrities.
One of them at least is married, I think, too.
Oh, yeah, they got a
No,
family.
they act like celebrities, but you think you'd just be very depressed. You went from wealthy to jail, incarcerated. But every photo I see of them with their, they're smiling and seem pretty happy.
I'm sure everyone has an opinion on it.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of that.
No, of course not. They murdered their parents, no matter how crazy their parents were. And they're 18 and 21. They could have just left.
There's so many other things they could have done. I get how bad it was. I mean, I see.
Yeah, I know the abuse was there too, Miss Beaches.
But I just, the family members who are wanting them to get released.
It's hard to find one that doesn't.
But here's the crazy part. They couldn't stay in the courtroom when they were showing the pictures of how they killed the
I'm
parents.
sure. I mean, it's like shotgun blasts.
But I know.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's hard
well,
to
you
watch.
don't want to see that gory stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I mean, one was 18, one of them was 21, so it's 35 years later. So one of them's 55. Excuse me, 21. So it'd be one of them's 56, and one of them's like 50, 35 and 18. God, I can't even add. One of them was 21, so he's 35 and 21 would be 56. And one of them was 18, 35 and 18, that would be 53. So one of them's 56, one of them's 53. I mean, I'm not saying being incarcerated for 35 years is pleasant. I know it's not at all. 35 minutes wouldn't be pleasant. But those two jerks will still have a lot of life left and will be walking into a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Anyway.
Yeah. I don't get it, but he's, the judicial system speaks, so.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we will see what happens. It's California, so you never know. The Southern Baptists at their national meeting, like 10,000 people representing the nationwide congregation, they want to ban same-sex marriage. Why even discuss that? Like the other part was like, pro-family, procreating, like have children. Like a lot of people don't. I'm single. I don't have any kids. It's it's narrowing down for me. It's probably like about a 90-something% chance now I will not have a child. Just how it is. I'm 59 years old. I might meet some like 38, 40-year-old, 42-year-old fall in love with and just like, let's have a kid. That could happen. I think it's about a 1 or 2% chance. No, so I get it. Like Japan, they're saying is going to go into like an economic, problem in a few decades because of population decline. They don't have enough people. It's going to affect their economy. They need to procreate. No, that's fine. Just say that. Southern Baptist, procreate. We're pro-family. Mom, dad, Jimmy and Sally, the kids, the white picket fence, be pro-family. But ban same-sex marriage? I mean, what's next? Bring back rotary dial phones and black and white TV sets? Hey, the milkman's going to deliver milk to your house. Just crazy. Not so much the rotary dial phone thing, Miss Peaches. I like that. It's fun. Took a while. Long-distance calls took a really long time. You had to you had to wait for it to come back. I remember when push button phones came out, that was like huge. It's crazy. Now I remember, Miss Peaches, where, there was like the monopoly, just had like pre-Bell South, pre-AT&T. I think it was just Bell, I guess. South Central Bell. South Central Bell, like you rented the phone. They own the phone in your house. They physically own the phone. Yeah, so they had a few different models, but they own the phone. You rented the phone. So like when I was a kid, you go into someone's house, they had a phone like maybe like on the kitchen wall or something, like a wall phone, and they had like a phone like in the den. And that was it. Like you had to walk to a room to make a phone call. Like every bedroom didn't have a phone because you'd have to pay rent for that phone. Another thing, Miss Peaches, when I was a kid, most houses I went into, they had a TV in the den and maybe the parents had a TV in the bedroom. That's it. There weren't, 6, 7, 8 TVs in the house. Like today, it's like every bedroom has a TV. Kitchen has 2. The den has 2 or 3 TVs, that kind of thing. Back in the day, it was like 2 or 3 TV sets, tops.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Total maintenance, TM-AC.com, no cool spots. TM-AC.com, no cool spots.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Not an FM disc jockey, not a former politician, Corey Johnson.
You're not the DJ. You're a raconteur. You're a storyteller. You're a griot.
It's true. It is true. All kind of good stories, even about the olden days. Those are the worst stories. Some speeches in my day. Blah, blah, I don't care. Don't care. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Oh boy. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, you know what sucks, Miss Peaches? All right, first off, health is like the most important thing in life. Health. The richest people are the healthiest people. You want to know what sucks? And I'm not going to put it in the health category, but it's part of life. You have to have good quality of this thing. And a lot of people suffer from not having good quality, and it really affects your life in an adverse way. There's absolutely almost nothing worse than crappy sleep, especially like all the time. Like every night, you wake up every night at 3 a.m. and you're wide awake or something. That restless sleep, like you wake up and like, why is the sheet that's hooked onto the mattress pulled up off the mattress? Was I clawing at it in the middle of the night? How is the pillowcase off the pillow? What's going on? Why is the blanket on the floor? I only have a sheet, whatever. You don't know what you were doing, kicking or, something crazy. Restless sleep, crappy sleep, just the worst. God, nothing worse than that. It's hard to function. And if it's like repeated days in a row or even weeks in a row or months in a row, like people chronically can't sleep, just sucks. And then worse, you don't want to be dependent on something. Like if I don't drink NyQuil, I can't sleep. I mean, that would suck. The day you don't have NyQuil, you're just restless all night. You're mentally dependent on it, physically dependent on it. No, I don't know how you sleep, but my sleep is so on and off. It's not consistently good. When I was a kid, Jesus, when I would say from when I could remember till about 30 or 35, slept like a champ. Maybe even up to about 40. Been basically just get drowsy by the end of the day, pass out in the bed, go to sleep right away, sleep through the night. Might wake up one time, go to the bathroom, get back in bed, go to sleep right away. Right away. Now wake up, go to the bathroom, like, oh, what's my bank account look like? Do I have any emails? All kind of crap going through my head. It's terrible. No, I guess from like 35 plus, it's just sort of been not nearly as good a sleep. I don't know, stress, all that kind of stuff. That's all contributes to not sleeping. Your brain not calming down, affects sleep. But that's the worst. I'm not a turn on the TV or turn on the light, start reading a book person. I just stay in the bat cave and try to go to sleep. I keep it dark and make sure the AC's on. I try to go back to sleep. I figure if I'm giving in, if I go in the den and turn on the TV or turn on the light and get on my phone and start reading something or read a book or an article or something, like, anyway, not being able to sleep sucks.
I have a husband that snores, so I get it. And that's no fun. But,
no, the snoring part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now, what, you just bump him and it stops, or
sometimes if I can get him to turn a certain way, it'll stop. But sometimes I can't. Sometimes I'll go on the sofa just to get away.
Get
from
up,
the
to get away from
yeah,
it.
I
Wow.
can't handle it.
Wow. Yeah, I think my former wife said I snored sometimes. Yep. Also, like she said, like I would basically, I guess I'm not getting the. Yeah, but she said sometimes like not breathing. Now I've had like girlfriends say the same thing. Like I'm sitting there watching and all of a sudden you're like, like, you're like catching your breath.
Oh yeah, no, my husband's not like, I guess, a large guy, but he sounds like a 6-foot grizzly bear when he snores, and I'm like, can you breathe?
Well, it's that thing,
but it's so loud.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I'm afraid that he's not going to breathe. So we're going to look into it a little more, because the older he gets, is getting worse. But
the nasal strip doesn't work.
sometimes it works. Sometimes
But I'll tell you one thing. I tried those, and it leaves a damn mark on your face.
Yeah,
like too much adhesive on that damn thing.
Same thing.
It's like,
They're
God.
uncomfortable.
They are. It's not that they're like uncomfortable, but when you take them off, you're like, I have a big mark on my nose for like 3 hours or worse. Yeah.
It's like, what's that?
Yeah. Nasal strip. Anyway. Yeah. And the CPAP, you have to sleep on your back or your side at worst, not even on your side so much.
But breathing's important. So I don't know.
You think?
Uh-huh.
Breathing is right up there with food and water, Miss Peaches.
Yes, it is.
But so is sleep.
Yes.
And if you don't get a good night's sleep, no bueno. Boy, a slew of topics. That New Orleans poll we went through. Court rules against the mayor in that Ann Bro case. She'll have to come up with another 8,000. Shonda Norton, the woman who stole the Camry with the dog in it, said she dumped the dog out somewhere in the 9th Ward. The dog's name's Fannie Mae. It's a 17-year-old toy poodle, 6 to 8 pounds, a little tiny, like cat-like dog. Stay on the lookout for him. Southern Baptists want to ban same-sex marriage. U.S. News and World Report, best states in 2025. Louisiana came in 50th. Wow. Tomorrow, the U.S. Open at Oakmont. Check it out. It's fun watching PGA professionals struggle. Even if you don't like golf, you know the basic concept, how it works. These guys are the best in the world. This course is diabolical. They're going to struggle. There's going to be things you don't normally see, like a lost ball in a professional tournament, a pro putting off the green, missing a putt and it rolling off the green. Crazy crap that only amateurs do. You'll see it at Oakmont all weekend long. And here's the kicker. The winner might be over par. I think at best, the winner might be 1, 2, 3 under par at best, and it would not shock me if they're over par. No, the course is diabolical, and that's a good thing. It'd be like the game 3 of the NBA Finals tonight. Hey, they're going to be puddles on the court, and the rim's going to be bent to the side a little, and part of the backboard's going to have a hole in it, and we might have rain, for the part of the second quarter and part of the third quarter on the court. That would be what you're that'd be the best thing I could tell you. I couldn't say like football where it's wet and snow conditions or something like that. It's like something like basketball with water on the court and bent rims and hole in the backboard. It is crazy. The setup of this course is to almost torture these pro players. Hey, it's dinner time. How about Katie's in Mid-City, Iberville, Corner Telemachus? You know Angelo Brocado's ice cream joint on Carrollton? Katie's is about 2 blocks behind that. As New Orleans as it gets. And Scott Craig, he'll be in there tonight. And there's lots of seafood on the menu. You never know what Scott has. It could be flounder, speckled trout, soft shell crabs. And I love it. He'll be like, I got 17 flounder fillets. I got 13 soft shell crab. I got 14 speckled trout fillets. When they're gone, they're gone. More is better. More of the good things. Katie's tonight for dinner in Mid-City. What's that, Blue Boy? I need to go to Katie's and grab some to-go food for you tonight? Wow. You'd like those ribs, the smoked ribs that are then flash fried with that chili sauce? That's what you want? And you want the bone too. Wow, Blue Boy, so specific. See you tomorrow.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.